Okay, we were recording. All right, thank you so much. It took a while, but you are finally on, and I'm really excited to get to talk to you and I guess learn more about you. So everyone, this is Dr. Garcia, Dr. Robert Garcia. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I guess your background and what makes you such a kick-ass entrepreneur and a boss.
Wow, that's quite an intro. I'm Dr. Rob Garcia out of San Diego. I'm an 8-time author, and I own a life coaching company called Blue Dragon Enterprises. And I recently started the first digital magazine for life coaching that is at a much higher level than what's currently out there. What's remarkable about the magazine is that I launched it in 42 days on a budget of $25.
Yeah. And so, I think I had mentioned that before to them, that I couldn't remember if it was under 25 or under 30, but that's, I believe, really incredible when people are paying for all these ads and stuff. And then you were able to do that. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The process started, I was let go from my day job. I've been a life coach for a while, and I've been working on a friend's magazine. So I kind of learned some of the ins and outs about connecting with influencers and generating good content and layouts and stuff. So I basically recruited a team of 11 people in Facebook groups, but I was very selective. It was almost like special ops recruiting, to where I only took people that had like certain aptitudes, or they were really good at one thing. And they were cool personalities. I don't want anybody that's dramatic or mean or argumentative or short-tempered. So as I whittled through all these people, I got 11 core members, and we all agreed to work for free and to just create this amazing magazine. So it came together. We started doing a lot of layouts, and we started doing a lot of writing, and we got a couple of ads, and then we just put it together. We bought a template for $25 so that it's in a professional format. And then we found a free host on something called Issue with 2 U's, which is a free hosting platform for anyone that wants to do a magazine. I think it's ISSUU, something like that. There's a few free hosting platforms out there. This was a really good one because it gave us the flipbook format. And, so it doesn't just look like a PDF, like a multi-page PDF. It actually looks like a magazine. So it's got the side-to-side format. There you go. Yeah, ISSU. So it pretty much came together. We have ads. Our next magazine is actually going to have a guy from SEAL Team 6 on the cover. And he gave us a good interview talking about performance. And it's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I guess, how did you actually create the concept for this? Or did it just come to you, on a run or something? Or had you been thinking about starting something like this for a while?
I kind of fell into it because I've been doing life coaching for a while. So it was kind of a natural progression. I do write a success blog. And so I write about a lot of articles for advancing somebody's life really fast. Whether it's fitness, whether it's generating income, whether it's being better at relationships, or anything that pretty much gets things done faster. And so I wanted to make a magazine that was very high level, like Tim Ferriss type stuff, to where you read an article and you're like, oh my God, that literally is going to change my life 5 minutes from now as soon as I try it.
Yeah. And so I know that when I was talking to a few other people and telling them that I was going to be chatting with you, and I told them that you had created this digital magazine for very little, and what they wanted to know was how did you market it, or I guess how long they thought you were marketing it for months in advance. And I'm like, I don't think that's what he was doing. I'm not. So could you just I guess explain what the process was? Because I'm usually the last minute type of person, and they're saying no, he probably marketed it months in advance, and all of this writing has to be done. Can you just explain the process of that and how you ended up getting so much traction for it?
Yeah. We still haven't hit a ton of views. I have to be really honest, because part of being an entrepreneur is talking about the bad stuff as well as the good stuff.
Right, definitely.
We're probably up to 2,500 views, but that's considering it's a soft launch and $10 of Facebook ads. So we just had everybody talking about it. But the fact of the matter is the fact that we have influencers that are helping us out now. We have reach to high level people. The magazine after this one that's coming out with the SEAL Team 6 guy the next one's going to have a 4-time best-selling author. I can't tell who it is, but he's pretty big in entrepreneurial circles. Your hint is the pumpkin plan. But we did our promotions about 2 weeks to the lead up of the magazine because we were still having a lot of technical glitches. We were still having a lot of problems with layouts and things like that because, as you know, for any entrepreneur out there, no matter what business, a launch will have problems.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
That was about it. We just we just helped each other out. All of us did our own promotions, and we promoted in a lot of Facebook groups that we were a part of.
So I love how you mentioned that you really brought a whole team, this selective team together to help out with the project. Can you tell a little bit more about why you did that, and then also what sort of criteria? You said that they can't be grumpy or anything like that. But how did you find these people? Did you also, as well as how did you approach them? Were you guys people that you knew personally, or is it people that you met online? And then how did you go about saying, hey, I've got this idea, and
Well, if they ask up front about money, I know they're not right for the team because they're not out for the right things. And let's be honest, we all want to get paid and everything, but my concept is that I operate off one principle, which is a rising tide lifts all ships. And it means that if you sign on board with me, I'm going to do everything in my power to elevate you, to promote your products, to get you out there, and to steer you clients. Every person on my team has had a success because they've been part of this project, whether they've gotten more clients, whether they've got more exposure, whether they've got new jobs. I like to think some of it's my coaching, but a lot of it is just me offering them resources and introducing them to important people. And that's what I do for my team. And that's why they perform really well for me. And they're excited because you got to remember that once they get in a magazine, now that goes to their media page. If they're a coach, that's as featured in. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're a published writer.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It works out for everybody. It's win-win.
And so could you tell us a little bit more about, I guess, what you have a Facebook group, right? And then you also have a couple of other, you have, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to explain to everybody that you have a couple of books, right, that you've written, and just what credentials you have for really helping us understand why it is that you are a good life coach, and why it is that we should even pay attention to you. Because I know what
makes me stand out.
Yeah, because I mean, I know I can send them to your website, but just in your own words, what is it that makes you so amazing and kick ass? I'm sorry if I offend, but I tend to swear. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I like the honesty of that question, to be honest with you. I like people that ask me interesting questions that are probing. And yeah, why should anyone give a shit about who I am? I mean, so here's to answer that. I coach people on a much higher level. I don't just say, okay, we're going to lose some weight, or we're going to work on your relationship with your husband or whatever. I believe in the whole person concept. The products that I use to coach people are very, very high level. I do a lot of the stuff that I push myself into leading from the front. I'm a 17-year Air Force vet. I have 6 degrees. And I mean, that's just experience. It doesn't really mean a lot, but I get up at 4:30 every single day. I do 8-mile beach runs. I'm really intense. And it's like having a Green Beret for a best friend. It's somebody that's resourceful and interesting and passionate and really wants to see you succeed. I've never had a client ask for a refund. They really enjoy working with me, and it's more of a partnership because I treat them like they're a family member that needs to get their shit together.
Wow, that's
my philosophy.
I like how you said, yeah, that's awesome. It's like maybe for me, I guess it would be more like the uncle that's going to, kick my butt and get me to wake up in the morning and get me to do everything.
I do have an addendum to that. I just thought of what the big sell was. I was marinating on this. I'm a high school dropout, and I failed out of the first 2 colleges I went to, and everyone in my family is in prison or on drugs. Now, really let that sink in. So I'm self-made.
I didn't know that second part. Yeah, that is amazing. That is really, really and truly amazing. That you can, yeah. So I guess definitely, if you have my full attention now.
It's a unique perspective because when I was 19, I couldn't afford meat and I was sleeping on the floor. Okay, yeah. Most people don't have that life experience to draw back from.
Yeah, no, definitely. And not just like the experience, like what sort of drive you would have to achieve all of this. It's incredibly amazing. And then just having some of that rub off on everybody else might benefit us. So I guess then what turned things around, or what did you see? So just a little bit of background of myself. Not to that extreme, but there were some issues that were happening, between parents, and we ended up in a women's shelter, I guess you would call it.
Wow.
So for me, that was the moment when I decided, I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. I'm not, this has got to be a turning point, and no matter what, I'm going to go out there and be the best that I can be. And do it, even if I have to do it on my own. What was it for you? What were you that really drove you to, or I guess pushed you to say enough is enough? This is not me, and I'm going to exceed all expectations. Because truly and honestly, people who have that sort of background, the expectations are for them to, I don't even know, work in a minimum wage job, McDonald's, and not even that's bad. It's just not trying to better themselves either personally or with a business.
I have a long history of trying to really push myself. And I have a lot of failures behind me as well. And I'm starting to see the fruits of my labor. But going back to what you asked me, when I was 18, I just left the state. I moved 1,500 miles away from Eureka, California, and I moved to Arizona, and I tried to make the best of it. I felt really stupid because, like I said, I failed out of high school, then I failed out of junior college, and then I failed out of DeVry. I was trying to study electronics. Mm-hmm. I joined the Air Force. That gave me the structure to start turning it around. But I started pushing myself a lot harder than anybody around me. I started going to school off duty hours, and I was taking CLEPs and Dantes, and I was volunteering with Shriners Hospital for Children. Before I got out, I tried for the FBI and I tried for officer school. And because my test scores were really low, they didn't accept me, which is actually a blessing in disguise. So I leave the Air Force, I go to San Diego, I start teaching high school, and then it was progressive increases. So I joined the reserves, I enrolled in a doctoral program after I got my MBA, and then I really want to work with teenagers, so I started Blue Dragon, which is my company. It started off as a skateboard company, transitioned into life coaching because too many people were asking me about advice and stuff like that because I'm a speed reader. And then it just, the doctoral program, I finished that. And then, so really, I'm at a weird place in my life right now. For the first 2 years, I actually know freedom from school, and I know some success, and I know some income. I live in a great apartment in North Park, and I'm really happy, but it's just been like that Drake song, I started from the bottom and now I'm here, and I'm kind of just tripping out on all of it. Like I've been on 4 podcasts this week alone, and God, I went to a 3-day mastermind. Like it's just incredible, like what you can do if you're really motivated and you have a great plan. And that's why I appreciate you bringing me on here, so I can talk to people and just tell them my story and tell them that anything's possible if they really believe in themselves. And that's why I wrote my 8th book on speed learning, because I want to create a book. It's called Next Level, and it's a book that teaches people how to do anything better, because there are proven techniques. I have 16 of them that I cataloged in it.
Wow. So would you mind telling us or giving us a sneak peek to any of those?
So you're asking proprietary information. I'll have to bill you for this, obviously. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you 3 of them that have worked for me. Anytime, okay, let's say you want to learn something. The first thing to do is to find the highest level subject matter expert you can in the field. So, for example, if you wanted to learn a language, Tim Ferriss is the expert on language learning really fast. He would be the immediate guy to go to. So when you want to learn something, a job or a skill, you find the highest level subject matter expert. Okay, that's one technique.
Right.
Another technique is diagramming. Once you learn how to diagram things, you can use it to make timelines, income statements, hierarchical statements, Venn diagrams, whatever. Just learn how to do 3 diagrams and apply them to your business, your venture, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to learn. Diagramming is amazing when you really get into it, because it helps to map your thoughts. Okay, so those are 2 of them. So that's high-level subject matter expert, and then diagramming. And then for another one, I did a chapter on nootropics. So with all these new legal brain drugs that are all natural, I actually am an affiliate of 2 of them. I use Alpha Brain, which is Joe Rogan's company, on it. Alpha Brain is incredible, and if you pair it with cold showers and long runs, you're going to feel like a freaking genius, and you're going to way outperform anybody. Alpha Brain is a game changer. So nootropics is a third, although that's more of an external contributor.
Oh, I love the first. Okay, so my favorite is the first one where it's like screw everybody else that, trying to, if, for example, a business coach, right? Why would it's kind of like that. Why would I go to the cheapest business coach when I want to be earning? Obviously, I want my business to thrive. So why not go and learn from the best? Or maybe life coaching, go and learn from the best, and anything like that. I think that actually hits home for me more now. Before I would have said, no, I'll start and learn from, the lowest. I'll start at the bottom. But I love that. That is such a great, just saying it. It's like a duh kind of moment where, why didn't I think of that?
Okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Yasmin. What do you want to accomplish in 2016?
In 2016, I would want to I have actually a bold income goal. Bold goals are common in a corporate company, which is my 9 to 5 where I work. But okay. I have a bold goal for both my salary as well as my business, to set up the foundation for my business in 2017. Hopefully nobody from work is going to watch this. But so I want to set up the foundation for a perfect, thriving business in 2016, so that in 2017 I have that opportunity to make a choice, whether it is, business is thriving and I want to jump, or business is thriving but I love where I work and I'm going to stay. So I want the freedom to choose which one of those I want. But
okay. We'll probably take this offline because it's a little bit proprietary later on, but I would definitely love to coach you in your business, and I could definitely teach you some of these techniques I have. One of the best things I did, my website is still a work in progress. Amanda Mock clearly called me out on her show and said it was a hot mess and it made her want to cry on the inside, which God bless her for being honest. One thing I did do though that you could absolutely use is another technique is reverse engineering. So now you look at 5 businesses that you want to be like. Mm-hmm. Go to their website and start writing down features. Okay. So you're writing down, like, what do they have? Do they have an about me? Do they have services? Do they have as featured on? Mm-hmm. Do they have hire me? And start looking at components like the building blocks of their websites. Mm-hmm. And that way you can start to think of things at a higher level. Like that's what I did because I'm a life coach. I reverse engineered the top 5 life coaches and their websites and what their model was. Now I haven't applied it to my website. I added a few things here and there, but by doing that, you're pretty much, imagine 5 pizzas. You're grabbing toppings, the best toppings off each pizza, and you're making your own pizza. And that's how you improve yourself. Okay.
And I guess that does go back to the first point where you said learn from the best, really. Mm-hmm. And just going back and looking for that number one person and seeing how you can apply what they're doing and how you can not copy them, but really find your place in what they're doing. Find your own voice in similar to what they're doing.
Right. So and I'm real clear to emphasize this. Yeah. Copying is never okay. So you always want to, when you're taking your notes and you're doing your reverse engineer, you want to take general notes, not specific. So you go back to the 5 pizza analogy. If one of those pizzas is pepperoni and you end up with pepperoni, you're copying. But if you end up with a delicious pepperoni with like some olives and some cheese from another pizza and some other toppings, then you've got a unique product that's going to help you because it's going to be better than what you've done.
That's I mean, so I guess what do you have any tips for people just starting out? Because I know that a lot of the people that I work with, they're usually between either really fresh starting out, and they have tons of questions, or they're maximum, I think, in their second year, as far as who I work with. And so what is your usually what I tell them is to focus their business on one thing. Don't just say that you are, let's say, a health coach in general. Really focus in on what the one thing that you're going to help people with, and then you can grow from that. I don't know if that's right, but that's usually when this is a brand stylist and designer telling them something. But what that's my tip to them. But what is your what are your tips, your go-to tips that you see people making mistakes all the time when they're starting out, or even like life coaching, right? If in their lives, what one thing encompasses everything that people are just doing wrong when trying to achieve their goals, either in business or personal?
That was like 4 questions. Okay.
I know, I'm sorry. I keep thinking of more and more. You should see my notebooks. They're all like scribbles and
yeah. No, I love it. I love the energy. I'm gonna give the no shit assessment what took me, like rocketed me forward. Because like I said, it's been a learning process, but I'm functioning way higher than I did in October and November. The strongest things I did was I aligned myself with powerful influencers by going to meetup groups. So if you go to meetup.com and you find a business and entrepreneur group and you start going in your area, go to these groups. Okay. Right away, I've got something like 5 paid clients as a coach. I got a free ticket to a 3-day mastermind in San Diego that was like $5,000 a head. I met millionaires, and I just got out of that like last week. That was amazing. Meetup is huge. So you want to join an entrepreneur or a business group and start making friends, and then getting your name out there. So that's the first way, because now that you meet these people and they think you're cool, they're going to start selling for you, and they're going to start referring you if you're cool and you come across as a confident, provider. So after meetup groups, you're going to want to start to get on podcasts. You're going to want to expand your brand. Just like I'm doing right now, there's at least 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people that are going to know who I am after today. And they might check out my book, or they might check out my coaching services, or just ping me and ask me a question, which is fine. Getting on podcasts is one of the best things you can do, because it's low barrier to entry and it gets you exposed to new markets. And now guess what? A podcaster usually has a history of interesting guests that can help you. And the podcaster will connect you guys if he's worth his salt. Okay. So podcasts is exposure, meetup groups, and then start listening to podcasts that are specifically entrepreneur related. The most powerful ones I've found are Screw the 9 to 5, Tim Ferriss, and Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. Those are 3 of the biggest ones right now. So you're always learning, you're always developing your niche, you're always improving your brand, and you're getting out there and making sales. And that applies to both entrepreneurs that are just like acting as coaches, or people that are selling like hard goods products.
Wow. Yeah. I, for some reason, personally, just, I have meetup.com, and I even had it open. It's just that, and I join but I never actually, I guess, make the step to get out the front door, or make the time to leave extra early from work, and just go meet people. Right. So I think that's also one of the people who are starting out. That's one of the things that always stops them, is they're trying to get all of these people to listen to them online when they have a community locally that they could actually go out and meet with people and talk to people and get some referrals from. So that's a very, very good point.
Advanced networking practices are what have put me on the map. If you have a platform, it makes it easier. So if you're a social media expert, you have this, I have a magazine, I've written some books, I have a blog. So these are all ways I can provide value to somebody. You'd be surprised how quickly people are nice to you when you can say, hey, I'd like to feature in my magazine. That shit turns on a dime. Somebody that can't stand me, all of a sudden they want to buy me lunch. They're real nice when you get some exposure.
So I guess everybody has to get some kind of social media thing going so that they can start making those connections.
Get a platform, get a YouTube channel, or start a blog, or start a magazine, or whatever medium that you really enjoy doing, or a podcast. You get one of those 4, and now you've got the golden handshake to help people out.
That's really amazing. And it's so true, because as soon as I started, for example, doing this stuff, the boss chats, or the, what is the other one? Periscope. I started doing Periscope, and it's almost like the amount of emails I was getting for, asking questions about quotes and work and all that. It started to really, there's been an uptick in just a couple of weeks where I started periscoping and doing boss chats. So it is very true that just trying to pick something, stick to it, and then tell people about it and tell them that you can help them by having them on really, really does help. And offer value. That's one of the things that I always tell people is just you're always selling, you're always on as an entrepreneur, even with your own relatives, at least I am. But, also offer value so that you don't come off as sleazy, which is like what you're doing now. And then that's why I offer chats and stuff with people and answer questions, just because, you don't want to come off as a sleazy salesperson. Have you had experience with that? Just any sort of sales tips or, I don't know, I guess, sales tips would be great.
Yeah, the biggest turnaround, absolutely. The biggest turnaround was following a tactic from The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. If you offer 3 times the value of what you're asking for, people are going to like you. You never go in asking for a sale. In fact, walk up to them and try and solve one of their problems. If you can help them with their problem, they're going to know that you're smart, and they're going to know you're sincere, and they're going to want to know about your product. I've bought products from people I normally wouldn't buy because the people were amazing, and they, then I let them pitch me after we talked for a while. But always offer the 3-to-1 ratio of offering 3 times what you're asking for.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. That's just. So it's offer 3 times. What was it? Offer 3 times as much value as what your product is worth. Is that how you put it? You put it really well. Sorry.
You could put it at worth. You could put it at worth, but you could put it also as time. You could put it as value of service, because if somebody, let's say I'm at the meeting and I meet a new person, immediately, if they're cool and I want to sell them an ad for the magazine, I'm gonna immediately see if, first of all, I'm gonna offer them a free ad. Then I'm going to see if they want to guest write for the magazine. So now they've become a published author and promote their stuff. And I'm going to publish them across my social media and my platform. So now they've got all this exposure. They've got all these new potential customers and this ability to get more exposure. Now, after I've established a relationship with them and they're comfortable with me and I've asked them about their cat and their dog and their goofy kids, then I can say, oh, hey, this month we still have a few ads left, and I'd love to give you this discount on it. And that way they're a lot more open. You never go for the hard sale with somebody you just met. You're right. It does come across sleazy and it comes across manipulative. Whereas solve their problem and they'll take you to lunch. They'll do anything for you. What is I forget who is the one that said it, but it's a 7-touch rule where you want to make sure you, I guess, either meet with somebody or offer value or something. You have to touch the person around 7 times for them to actually trust you, and then in turn buy from you, which is. I don't think it's sleazy at all. I think it's a very good way to just develop the trust. And then you also get to find out whether it's a person that you want to work with. So, for example, if you are talking to this person and offering value and then that you just don't jive with them, then at least you get to know that and you're not fully invested in some kind of project or a long-term project with them. Can we transfer real quick on a segue from that? You just said something really interesting, and this is also, you want to talk about techniques that rocketed me forward. You talked about being selective with clients and people you work with. I read a book called The Pumpkin Plan. It changed everything, because I was working on 3 different projects, unpaid, for friends of mine that liked me because I was efficient and smart. Mm-hmm. But I realized after reading the Pumpkin Plan, basically the premise is that you cut loose the clients that are pains in the ass, that aren't providing value, or that are really difficult to work with, and your productivity will soar because you're focusing on the good ones. The Pumpkin Plan is a must-read for any entrepreneur that's dealing with multiple people.
The Pumpkin
Once
Plan.
I got rid of those 3, by Mike Micklowitz, once I got those 3 gone out of my life, I launched this magazine, and I'm not kidding. In a week, in 42 days, I launched the magazine, and I was able to launch my book a week before the magazine came out because my productivity shot through the roof. Because you know what? I wasn't solving these idiots' problems all the time.
Yeah.
Pumpkin Plan, required reading.
You said Mike
Micklowitz.
Micklowitz. Okay. All right. Cool. Trying to get
That's a tough one to spell, I assure you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've gotten now I have a giant list of podcasts and books to read. Um, all right. So just so that I don't know how long we're running, usually these are about 30 minutes long. So
Okay.
do you have any other tips, or if anybody has questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. Do you have any final tips or anything that you want to leave us with? I've put your website up, but let me put your website up again so they can click on it.
Yeah, they can read the magazine from my website. It's just at bluedragonent.com.
Okay. Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and most of my coaching, I don't mind mentoring people for free. If you got a question about business or you're confused about something, feel free to write to me. Just use the contact me form and pitch me a question. I don't mind at all. I love meeting people.
Oh,
that goes for you too. So,
all right.
Final words. This is get organized, learn to diagram, set sales projections. I loved hearing that you have bold income goals. Set sales projections, and then work backwards. Okay. Once you have your number for the month, then you have to calculate like how much you'll have to sell or how many clients you'll have to get to hit that number. It's written on my dry erase board right in front of my computer. So I know exactly what I have to work towards. So, 2 seminars, a coaching package, some book sales, some digital ebook sales, all that stuff. Get organized. Do not go through your month just hoping you'll make the sales. You need to subconsciously position yourself to work towards that number. That's my biggest advice.
Okay. So just one final question then. I guess writing out the goal obviously makes it more real, right? And then actually doing action steps for that. Is that what you're saying? Doing action steps to how to get to that goal, not just writing it out, but what increments you're going to take in order to achieve it that month. Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Write down the number, and then you're close. You write down the number, and then underneath I listed like the 6 most profitable things I can do.
Okay.
And then whatever I sell them for, I sell something for, let's say, $100. Now, how many of those do I have to sell to hit the number? And then I broke it down to 6 different items. So some services, some books, some stuff's passive. So I get money from doing nothing. Believe it or not, there's a formula for that, and I'll tell you on a later episode. But yeah, that's how you get to your number. Is you have to catalog what you're selling, what your goods are, and then the number you have to sell to get to that number. So it's actually broken down. You have a numerical counter, and you just start marking it every time you sell one. That's how you hit a goal. Okay,
that's awesome. And that's a great way to I guess end the evening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining me. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much. Feel free to reach out to Dr. Garcia or check out his website and follow him. I'm pretty sure you.
One last thing.
Yes, go ahead.
I apologize for interrupting you. I have a secret business group on Facebook called Blue Dragon Army. If you're a unique and hard-charging entrepreneur and you want to be in a room with all business owners and high IQ people that will help mentor you, join Blue Dragon Army. I will approve you if you say you're from this show. And you, Yasmin, you're joining too. I absolutely want you in that group.
On my to-do list. Yeah, I have to.
All right.
After hearing everything about you, I definitely, that's a must. All right. So thank you so much for joining. And I hope everybody has a great evening. And yeah, that's it. See everybody next Monday. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.